Why your financial dreams die when you speak them. The quiet power of building wealth in silence. Have you ever announced a big financial goal to everyone around you? Maybe you promised that this year would be different. Maybe you said you would finally get out of debt. Maybe you told your friends you were going to build a successful business. Maybe you announced that you would become financially free before the age of 40. At that moment, it felt exciting. People admired your ambition. People encouraged you. Some even told you how impressive your plans sounded. You felt motivated. You felt confident. You felt successful. But then something happened. Days passed. Weeks passed. The excitement slowly faded. The motivation disappeared. The goal that once felt so important became another forgotten dream. Many people think this happens because they are lazy. Others believe they lack discipline. Some convince themselves they simply are not talented enough to succeed. But often the real reason is much simpler. They talked too much before they worked. This is the story of Ethan. Ethan worked in a large financial company in downtown Chicago. Every morning he walked through streets filled with ambition. People rushed to offices carrying expensive coffee and expensive dreams. Everyone seemed to be chasing money. Everyone seemed to be chasing success. Everyone seemed to be chasing freedom. Ethan was no different. At 34 years old, he had a stable job. He earned a respectable salary. He lived in a comfortable apartment. From the outside, his life looked successful. But inside, he felt trapped. Every month he earned money. Every month he spent money. Every month he promised himself that he would start building real wealth. Yet nothing changed. One evening, after reviewing his finances, Ethan felt frustrated. He had spent more than 10 years working. He had spent thousands of hours helping wealthy clients manage money. Ironically, he still felt far from financial freedom himself. That night, he opened a notebook. He wrote 3 goals. Build an investment portfolio. Start a financial consulting business. Reach financial independence within 10 years. For the first time in years, he felt hopeful. His future looked clear. His path looked simple. All he had to do was begin. But instead of working quietly, Ethan made a mistake. The next day he told everyone. At lunch he announced his plans to his coworkers. I'm building a side business. 10 years from now I won't need this job. I'm going to become financially independent. His coworkers were impressed. Some congratulated him. Some admired his confidence. Others said they wished they had his determination. Ethan smiled. The compliments felt good. Very good. That evening he called his parents. He explained his vision. He described the future life he planned to create. His parents sounded proud. His father said, "I always knew you would achieve great things." The words filled Ethan with satisfaction. Later that week he met friends for dinner. Again he shared his plans. Again people praised him. Again people admired him. Again he felt successful. The strange thing was that nothing had actually happened. He had not signed a client. He had not launched a business. He had not invested $1. He had not created a system. He had not produced any results. Yet emotionally he already felt rewarded. His brain was enjoying the benefits of success before earning them. The following weeks were disappointing. His motivation weakened. The urgency disappeared. Each evening he planned to start. Each evening he found excuses. Tomorrow became next week. Next week became next month. 3 months later, nothing had changed. The business did not exist. The investments had not been made. The goals remained words on paper. Eventually Ethan stopped thinking about them. The dream quietly died. A year later, Ethan became excited about another opportunity. This time it was stock trading. He spent hours watching videos. He studied charts. He followed successful traders online. Soon he convinced himself that this would be the path to wealth. Once again he started talking. He posted about trading. He discussed strategies. He explained future profits. He told everyone how much money he planned to make. The attention returned. The praise returned. The excitement returned. And once again, the work disappeared. Months later, his trading account showed almost no progress. Another dream was gone. The pattern repeated itself for years. Every goal began with excitement. Every excitement led to announcements. Every announcement brought praise. Every praise created satisfaction. And every satisfaction reduced action. Ethan could not understand why he always failed. He was intelligent. He was educated. He understood finance better than most people. Yet he never seemed to move forward. One cold winter evening, Ethan stayed late at the office. The building was nearly empty. Most employees had gone home. As he packed his belongings, he noticed an older man sitting alone in a conference room. The man was reviewing financial reports. He looked calm, focused, unhurried. Ethan recognized him immediately. His name was Robert. Robert was one of the most successful investors in the company. People respected him. His investments had generated millions of dollars. What made him unusual was his silence. He rarely spoke about his achievements. He never bragged. He never discussed future plans. He simply worked. As Ethan walked past the room, Robert looked up. "Long day?" he asked. Ethan laughed. "You could say that." Robert noticed the frustration in his face. "Something on your mind?" For reasons he could not explain, Ethan told him everything. He explained his failed business plans. He described his abandoned investment goals. He admitted how often he started and stopped. When he finished speaking, Robert remained silent for a moment. Then he asked a simple question. "When do you usually tell people about your plans?" Ethan shrugged. "Immediately." Robert nodded. "And how much progress have you usually made before you tell them?" Ethan thought for a moment. "None." Robert smiled. "I thought so." The next morning Robert invited Ethan to meet him before work. They met at a quiet park near the financial district. The city was still waking up. The streets were mostly empty. Robert carried 2 envelopes. He handed one envelope to Ethan. "Open it." Inside was a $100 bill. Ethan looked confused. Robert then opened the second envelope. It also contained $100. "Now watch carefully," Robert said. He placed the second bill on a park bench where everyone could see it. Then he put Ethan's bill back into the envelope and placed it safely inside a locked box. "What do you think will happen?" Robert asked. "The money on the bench will probably disappear." Robert nodded. "And the money in the box?" "It will remain safe." Robert smiled. "Exactly." Then he pointed to the bill on the bench. "Most people treat their dreams like that. They place them in public view. They show them to everyone. They seek attention. They seek approval. They seek admiration. In the process, they expose their dreams to unnecessary risks. Doubt, pressure, criticism, distraction, and most importantly, they waste energy." Ethan listened carefully. Robert continued, "When you announce a goal, people often reward you with praise. Your brain experiences part of the emotional satisfaction associated with success. You feel accomplished before accomplishing anything. That feeling reduces the urgency to act." Ethan suddenly thought about every abandoned goal in his life. The consulting business, the trading account, the investment plans, the side projects, the countless dreams that had never become reality. For the first time, the pattern made sense. Robert continued walking. "Real wealth is usually built quietly. The wealthiest people I know spend less time talking about plans and more time executing them. They understand that early goals are fragile. They need protection. They need privacy. They need time." Ethan asked a question. "So should I never talk about my goals?" Robert shook his head. "Not exactly. Share them only with people who can genuinely help. Not people who simply provide applause. Advice can be useful. Validation can be dangerous." Those words stayed with Ethan. That evening he returned home and made a decision. He would try something different. No announcements. No social media posts. No public declarations. No discussions about future success. Only work. He reopened his notebook. He reviewed the same goals. Build an investment portfolio. Start a consulting business. Reach financial independence. But this time he told no one. Not his friends. Not his coworkers. Not even his family. Each evening after work, he spent 2 hours building his business. He created systems. He designed services. He studied client needs. Some nights he felt inspired. Other nights he felt exhausted. But because nobody knew, there was no pressure. There was no need to impress anyone. There was only the work. Weeks became months. Slowly, progress appeared. His investment account grew. His first consulting client arrived. Then a second client. Then a third. The progress was small. But it was real. For the first time, his actions were producing results. 1 year later, something remarkable happened. A coworker discovered Ethan's consulting website. "You built this?" Ethan smiled. "Yes." "When?" "Over the last year." The coworker was shocked. "You never mentioned it." Ethan simply nodded. There was nothing else to say. The work spoke for itself. 2 years later, Ethan's side business generated significant income. 3 years later, his investment portfolio had grown substantially. 5 years later, he left his corporate job. Not because he hated it. Because he no longer needed it. The freedom he once talked about endlessly had finally become reality. Ironically, now that he had achieved success, he felt less interested in talking about it. He understood something that most people never learn. Words are cheap. Action is expensive. Dreams grow differently than people think. Most people believe motivation creates action. In reality, action often creates motivation. Most people believe public declarations create accountability. Sometimes they do. But often they create false satisfaction. Most people believe talking about success brings success closer. Yet many times it pushes success further away. Because talking feels like progress. But talking is not progress. Planning is not progress. Announcing is not progress. Only action is progress. A seed does not become a tree because it is displayed. A seed becomes a tree because it grows quietly beneath the surface. Invisible. Protected. Patient. Strong. Your financial goals are no different. Your business idea does not need applause. Your investment plan does not need admiration. Your future success does not need public approval. It needs work. It needs consistency. It needs silence. The world does not need to know what you are building. The world only needs to see what you built. So the next time you feel the urge to announce a big financial goal, pause. Take a breath. Close your mouth. Open your notebook. And get to work. Because the strongest fortunes are often built in silence. And when success finally arrives, you will not need to tell anyone. The results will speak louder than words ever could.